I bought this Steamboat Willie because I thought, as soon as I seen it, I thought, well, cut that smoke out, leaving, or the steam even, leaving the frame in. So you're going to sort of cut that out and then drop it in the liver of sulphur, like I am here. I'm in the middle of an oil coin here, a maple. Change the colour of that smoke, so it's then, but obviously the steam can slot back in, be a nice piece. I just don't know what to do with it next, but like most things, I'll start it and the rest will come to me later. Let's start with the steam and then we'll take it from there. Place the blade and we'll go around the edge. Now I'm flowing quite well with it, to be honest, but you should put the camera in between me and the coin, and now I'm sat back a little bit further. It's easier to make a mistake. Quite a good view from where I am, but yeah, when I do use these blades here, these are thinner than what I'd use for a jigsaw, so they're very easy to sort of steer off with. I can't explain, I don't know how, but the thinner the blade, they seem to be a lot harder to steer. So I'm just going to put the camera down for a little bit so I can concentrate on this cut. Right, last bit now. I think there's something I didn't really take into consideration here, but it's not the end of the world, but there's something I didn't think about. Right, steam's out. Let's have a look at that. There you go. One thing I didn't consider, my insertion point. It's quite a bit weak there. It could end up being. It feels alright at the minute, but brush any dust off it that might be on it. There's the steam, and I'm actually in the middle of another coin in the liver of sulphur, so I'm just going to drop that in. Don't quite know what colour I want it to go, but we'll come back to that. Wow, look at that colour for smoke. That's going to be a cool colour. Let's wash it off. Bit of soap and water. Just that stops the process from carrying on, so take that liver of sulphur off. That's what the bicarbonate soda does. So obviously the soap and water just washes the bicarb off, and then it's dry it off time. That is a perfect industrial steam colour, I would say. So the next thing is now I'm going to do the next bit. I don't want to do another incision in the frame, so I'm going to try drilling a hole for this next part. There we go, we're in. Jesus, I made a meal of that bloody one, and now I've dropped it out. Ah. Right, let's get cutting around the perimeter of this. Decision make time here, because, you know, it might sound petty to someone, but there's two options. I could follow around the bottom and then come back across the water, but I feel like I'm going to prefer to go across the water and back across round the frame. Don't ask me why. I'm trying to cut perfectly round the rim. I feel like I'm more confident to come back that way. I don't know why, so now I'm going to turn up and go around the water and back. So now I've done the water, I'm got to spin it around 90 degrees and we'll follow that, and we'll pick that water out. So, because we're turning such a sharp turn there, to get around that edge, I'm going to make sure I've got some lube on my blade for this, a bit of wax, because it really does help, does lessen the friction, and you don't want any friction when you're trying to turn, especially I'm using a very, very small blade here. This is one size shy of the smallest I've ever used, so yeah, I'm going very small with this. So any side with pressure, very easy to snap a blade. So as much bit of wax when you're doing a nice tight turn. I don't use wax or lube all the time. I use it a lot more when I'm doing something like this than I do a jigsaw. I don't know why, but normally when you're following lines, you know, if you're following lines and patterns that are already on there, you've probably got to be more precise. Whereas when I'm on a jigsaw, if I've not used a bit of wax and if it moves a little bit slightly from the line, I know I can still make it look like a jigsaw. But when I'm following a pattern that's there, you've got less room for movement, because you're following a pattern that you want to preserve or enhance or even improve. So yeah, right now, if you can see that, I'm following the water around the edge now. I feel a lot more comfortable going this direction than I would have when I was coming the other way. So yeah, I don't know whether it's because I feel like I've got a better line of sight down there. Maybe it's because I'm right-handed, I don't know, but I feel a lot more comfortable going this way. Coming towards the end. I'll know when I see it. There we go, that water's going to fall out now. There we go. So far we've got the water and we've got the steam. We'll get that a nice blue, the water. And now I'm going to pick away at the boat, I think, but leaving Mickey on, which will leave Mickey attached to this part. Cut the boat under his feet, round the top. Yeah, that's where we're going next. Start cutting up this boat now. The only thing I thought of, I don't know when I do get it there, I don't know if I'm going to include the steering wheel. I'm going to follow the boat up there. I think I've got to go around the steering wheel, cutting it, keeping his hands attached to him. I think we need to colour the steering wheel. I think that'll make it extra cool if I can go around that steering wheel. Let's get nearer and I'll think about it as I'm cutting. And we're giving it a study as I'm cutting up the stern of that boat. I made my decision. I'm going to go around the steering wheel. I mean, it's too good an opportunity to miss, isn't it? Leaving the steering wheel there, it's going to look so cool if I get that steering wheel off. And I think I can do it leaving Mickey Mouse's hands in the right place. Or Steamboat Willie as he was known back then, but yeah, let's do it. Again, I'm turning again, so let's get some lube on, because we want to make a nice turn. Let's brush the dust off so I've got a nice view. Let's go for it. Now, so I always put lube on the side of the blade and never down the teeth, always on the side. Don't ask me why. No, it's just the way, from the research I've done. I know there's very little information out there, that's just something I found. Right, let's go around that wheel now, keeping his hand on. Sometimes you just need to keep brushing the dust off, because you don't want to block them lines up. You need to keep a good line of sight all the way. Cut through all that line of the boat now, and now we're going to have to cut that side of the boat out, and we're about there. Cracking this is going to be, I'm telling you. We're going to see it separate now on the very last bit of the cut. Hold on. Where I'm going. There we go. Oh, let's see what this looks like. Let's get rid of that saw, brush that dust off my hands. Are you ready? Let's have a look. Wow, that is absolutely epic. Look at that. Jesus, that looks amazing. Oh my God, that is a great piece. Just wait till I colour that. Oh, we've still got Mickey's hands there. And when we slot that back in, look at how his hands are going to go back on that steering wheel. Look at that. Oh, I'm impressed with that. Yeah, well, it's just a great cut, and I'm so glad I took it to that level. Right, there's one thing to do. Let's get it in the solution. Obviously, that's the water. We know we want that to turn blue, so I know I can achieve blue in there. Let's get in. Blue takes the longest, so let's get it in quick. Now, the boat, I don't know what colour I want that, but let's get it in. That's just an epic piece, isn't it? That is an epic piece of silver. Look at that. I'm quite impressed with that. Let's get that in the solution. I'm going to have a look at the colour chart. But depend on timings that you leave it in for with the sulphur. You can get most colours. Just watching the stack chat there. I'm gonna have to get off that. Let's get on ChatGPT. Silver in liver of sulphur. So literally it will tell you, I'll probably go through the colours of the rainbow. Let's watch out and see if ChatGPT is quick. Here we go. So I know the sequence anyway, but let's just. So we start with yellow, yeah, brown, purple, but there we go, blue. That's the colour we want for the water. For the boat, don't want to go too much like the brown, because I think that's more like the steam. Maybe we go for the purple. Yeah, let's see. Personally, I think I'm going to settle. I think that's a really cool colour, that gold colour for the boat. I think that's where I'm settling. It looks, does it stand out different to the steam? Yes. I'm going for that colour. If it's not, you can always drop it back in the solution after you've cleaned it, but let's just stop that going any further because I think that could be the colour. You see, that's going to be an epic boat, isn't it? Put this in, let's see if the gold colour I've chosen is the right colour. Let's bring the light over here a little bit. Alright, let's get that ship in. Oh wow, I think that's unbelievable. Oh god, let's get the steam in. I think that's fine. I think that's flipping gold. Ooh, gold boat, black steam, get blue water down there, that's gonna be epic. There is room to cut Mickey out if I want to go a little bit further later. But let's see if it needs it. Sometimes less is more, I don't want to go too much. I think that blue is where I want it to be. A little bit dark and I could go lighter, but I think that's a blue. It's not always about what you can sell it for, it's what can you achieve? What can you push yourself to? And I'm just really pleased with it. And yeah, you know, before I even brought it, I looked at the picture and I seen that steam. I thought, oh, I'm gonna do something with that steam. And it was always like, I don't know what I could do with the rest. And sometimes when you've got it in your possession, you start seeing things a bit differently. I think I could have gone much better with the colours. The blue of the water, and even how the boat's gold, but on the bottom it's like got, you know, where the boat touches the water, it's like splashes of a different colour, which look like the splashes, and then you've got the industrial colour for the steam. Brilliant. Really happy with the way this one turned out. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. Do we keep it as it is, or shall I start cutting Mickey out and colouring him? I really think this could be finished as it is. But yeah, real nice test of my ability, this one. Thanks for watching.